Good morning. My name is Bobby Albano, and this is California Curb Appeal, our Saturday morning business development group. So, the purpose of this group is to give you tips and tricks and ideas for building your business. And today's topic is actually thinking like an owner. As a real estate professional, even though you work under a broker, you are the owner of your business. Even when you file taxes, you're going to be filing taxes as a business owner. Just the same way as any sole proprietor would file their taxes with the Schedule C. You put your revenue, your expenses, just like a business. So when we operate that way, we need to change our thinking. Make sure that we're thinking like an owner. So I have some information I want to share with you when it comes to thinking like an owner. So when you go, I'm sorry, let me back up. So there's two ways that you can think. You can think like an owner or you can think like an employee. And I know that a lot of new agents, when they come to, when they interview brokers and they decide where they're going to start their real estate career with a particular office, many times their thinking is still as an employee. They think of the broker as the boss, they think of the other agents as their coworkers. And it's common to do that because we're coming from a world where we are an employee. And so, what needs to happen is our thinking needs to shift from an employee to an owner. And how do you know how you're thinking? Well, here's a good little tip. If you walk into a coffee shop and you think about things like, I wonder why they put the most expensive items on the top of the menu and not on the bottom. Or if you think of things like, I wonder why there's only three choices of, drinks. Or I wonder why they have the actual pastries out in the showcase rather than just a list of them. That right there shows that you are thinking like an owner because that's how an owner would think. Also, if you think about the staff, if you think, well, I wonder why they're so understaffed this morning. I wonder if it's because of budget constraints. Those are types of things that you would think of as an owner. If you're thinking like an employee, then you're thinking, I wonder how many hours my broker expects me to put into this new position. Or if you're thinking things like, I wonder when I need to be available to take leads. That's employee thinking. So, how do we shift from employee thinking to owner thinking? Well, it's very easy, um, but it does take some practice. When you um, let me think of an example. Um, Leads. Let's talk about leads. So when you are thinking, how am I going to get my next client? An employee would think, I wonder when somebody's going to call me and tell me I have somebody to work with. That's employee thinking. An owner type thinking would be, I wonder how I could go out and fill my book of business. I wonder how I could get the next client that I'm going to work with. I wonder what I could do to get more clients. That is owner type thinking. So we need to make that shift. Otherwise, we will be stuck because as a real estate professional, nobody is going to hand you clients. That's something that you're responsible to do. Now, I have heard of brokerages that promise tons of leads, but let me tell you, those do not come for free. And when you're given leads, think about it. I just challenge everyone to just think about it. Think about it as a reasonable person and put yourself in the place of the client. So you're talking to somebody, you've decided to sell your house, so you're talking to somebody on the phone because they called you, they had a nice voice, and you decided to talk to them, right? For whatever reason. Maybe you were standing in line, you had nothing better to do. Okay, I'll take this cold call, right? And so you're talking to them, and you like them, you kind of hit it off a little bit. So you invite them over. Yeah, you can come over and tell me what my property might be worth. So they come over and you still continue to hit it off. And then all of a sudden one day they say, okay, I'm going to, or they don't even tell you. They just hand you off to somebody else, and suddenly you're talking to somebody else who's brand new to you. You had a rapport going with another person, and then suddenly you're being called by a stranger who says that they got your number from another person. How is that going to make you feel? I try to think of things practically, like how they would actually happen in real life. Because when these companies that are selling leads talk to you, they make it sound real good. Like, we're just going to send you all these leads. These are people ready to go. Well, how did they get ready to go? Did somebody already start working with them and then just drop them and hand them off to somebody else? So, I just challenge you to think about things practically. How does life really happen? Um, I have found in my experience that by thinking like an owner, taking responsibility for the leads that I have and I get, I am able to go out there into the world, create these relationships with many different people. And I don't have to, I don't mean like a deep, meaningful relationship. I mean a professional business relationship. I go to places where people are at. When I go to places where people are at, I generally talk about what I do, just as a matter of conversation, making conversation, and people, I connect with people, and then when they are ready, they call me. So the trick is to get as many relationships, business professional relationships, as possible. Because what does that do? That creates a steady stream of when the people are ready, they know where to call. And then just staying in touch with those people. So, changing your thinking from an employee to an owner. You own your business. And one tip that I like to share, one great way to start thinking like an owner is to do things that an owner would do. For example, um, if I started a new business, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to name it. I'm going to name my business. I'm going to give it a personality. I'm going to give it a culture. I'm going to give it a vibe, right? So the first step is naming my business. So I don't know if I'm sure you've all seen Misha's personal logo. He has his own personal logo that is very compatible with our logo, and it looks fantastic. But that's what he did. He named his business. He started out thinking like an owner. So once you've created your logo and created your name and your personal vibe for your own business, then what do? You start telling people about it in the way of advertising. So you create ads, you create flyers, you create business cards. You just do the things that business owners do to get the word out about their business. So those are just the very first few steps in changing that mindset to an owner mindset. Because let me tell you, thinking like an employee is not going to serve you well in this industry. Now, it will if you take a job at at the city or at the county, or take any job anywhere. Employees there's a very, very good place for them, and that is with, employers. And most employers do not want their employees thinking like owners. In fact, that behavior is not rewarded for sure. But in this industry, it absolutely is rewarded. Okay, so now I want to talk about um, now that you're thinking like an owner, here's a quick 30-day action plan for getting leads, listings, and sales. Because isn't that what we all want, right? Especially now. I think now is probably the best time for you to go and seek those listings. Rachel just got two at the same time. So the people are out there, the people are ready, and we have a whole group of buyers just waiting to buy. So it's a good time to get out there and get those listings. Okay, so the process for getting new leads, listings, and clients is pretty simple. However, it is not easy. So what you can start doing is um, start those habits that will continue throughout your career. Now, like I said, once you've built your book of business, the early things that I did in my career, I don't need to necessarily do to the same degree, but I am always prospecting. I am always talking about my business, and I am always meeting new people. So that doesn't stop necessarily, but it does slow down, and it's not as critical as it was in the beginning. But in the beginning, that is when you are creating those wonderful habits that are going to follow you out throughout your career. So now is the time that you want to develop those habits. So with any habit, it takes a little bit of effort. When somebody gave me this example, so if you take your hands like this and you bring them together like this without even thinking about it 5 times, which finger are you putting in front? For me, it's my left hand. I'm always putting the left finger in front, right here. If I try to do it the other way where my right finger's in front, it takes a little bit of effort and it doesn't feel comfortable. But after a while, if I keep doing this, then all of a sudden, this is going to become natural, right? It's the same way with any other habit. And especially with a real estate career, we have to develop some uh, habits that are going to make or break this career. So, one of those habits is prospecting all the time. It doesn't have to be something that's horrible. I hope that you would love it. I hope that you would enjoy meeting new people. I hope that you would enjoy talking about real estate, talking about houses, talking about, investing in real estate and how lucrative this could be for you and everyone else. If you don't enjoy talking about it, then maybe you want to reconsider your career choice. But for me, it's something I enjoy talking about. It's something I enjoy learning about. I love learning about the legal aspect and the forms and the changes that are made. So it's just something I love, and I hope that everybody loves it kind of intrinsically, so that that passion shows through. Because let me tell you, you communicate 100% of the time. However, very little of it is verbally. You communicate through your actions, through your body languages, through your just through your lack of enthusiasm or your enthusiasm. So believe me, if it's not a passion for you, it's going to show. People are going to grab onto that. So once you show that true passion that you have for real estate, that will be infectious and other people will gravitate towards you. Okay, so talking about habits. So we're not talking about trying harder or doing more. I want you to really try and stay away from that mindset, because what we want to do is develop some good habits that are things that you can do every day, but it doesn't include trying harder or doing more, because that is the first step to burnout, and we do not want burnout. What we want to do is I'm going to explain to you 4 simple steps that any realtor can start using today to get started. And it will be something that you do all the time, but you don't have to get burnt out with it. Okay, number 1, prepare to accelerate new lead and client generation. So your future success is dependent upon your ability to rapidly build up relational lead sources. Cultivate a sense of trust, and remember to do all the little things that make a big difference in your clients and prospects' experience with you. So, 3 things. You want to rapidly create those relationships. So, you want to go where people are and learn some of those soft skills in communication. So, how to have an intelligent conversation, how to introduce yourself, how to just be a social being. I know that for some people, this might be a little bit of harder than for other people. Some people are all built differently, but please do not get discouraged, because our book of business is going to consist of people like us, because people gravitate towards people like themselves. So every type of person needs a real estate agent. So if you are someone who's not quite as social, you are going to gravitate towards people who are not quite as social, and they're going to see a likeness or a similarity, and they're going to be drawn to you, and that's great. That's exactly what you want. But you have to get out there and meet the people, and maybe if you're in a group of people, you're going to automatically gravitate towards people like yourself, and so will they. So it's just about being where people are. Then, second step, cultivate a sense of trust. That is just about being vulnerable, sharing things about yourself, letting the other person feel comfortable sharing things about themselves, and and cultivating a sense of trust. You know when you're talking to someone who makes you feel comfortable, and you don't get a weird vibe from them, like, oh, this person's shady. So just gravitate towards the people that make you feel comfortable, and probably the same thing is happening for them. And then remember to do all the little things that make a big difference. Thank you cards, phone calls just to say hi. If they said something about something they needed, and you can, give whatever that they needed, then provide that for them. If they needed a referral to something, or if they were wondering, where they could get I don't know, a certain kind of hat, just tell them, give them ideas of where they can get it. Be helpful, be a friend. I always say, really, this job is really being professional friend makers. We're just making friends. So that's the step number 1. Step number 2. Okay. Back to step number 1. Now, once you do create these relationships and meet all these people, you want to put them somewhere so that you can keep track of them, so that you can reach them later. And a lot of times we just put people in our phones, or, write it down on a piece of paper. I recommend putting them somewhere that will hold a lot of names, where you can make notes about the last time you spoke to that person, and you can use that system to easily contact them again, through email or text or phone. So Lion's Desk is a good way to do that. An Excel spreadsheet will do the same thing. A little bit slower, but the same thing. You don't have to spend a lot of money for this, but it just keep track. And you actually can use your phone, but it's just you can't. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can print out a list of your um, contacts. I don't know, but I'm sure you can somehow use your phone. But it's important to just to have a place for those people that you meet. Step number two. Develop a simple asset with useful real estate information. So, what's an asset? Well, you've heard it called a lot of different things. We can call it an asset, we can call it collateral, we can call it a flyer, a brochure. So just creating some type of place where people can learn about you without you having to tell them, right? So it's just a place where you can put everything about you and why you're so great when you can give it to them and not be there, or they can get it from somewhere and you don't have to necessarily be there. So put something together for yourself. You know, everybody has a business card, but let me tell you, the business card is easily lost. It's easily put away where it's never to be found again. It's easily thrown away. But if you create something that is a little bit bigger, it's a little bit harder to throw away. You can leave them at different places. I was talking to somebody who created an asset, we'll call it that, to put in small businesses. So she's making connections with other small businesses and making it easy for that small business to refer her because they have something to give to the person that they're referring. So it's just a tool. It's just a tool, but it's such a necessary tool. So create that, whatever it is. I would say a one sheet about you listing all your greatest qualities and what you can do for anyone who's holding this, you know, piece of paper. Okay, step number three. And this one is just what I've been saying all this whole time. Start a conversation. It's just about having a conversation, getting to know someone, building relationships. So once you have the names in your database, your phone, your spreadsheet, whatever you're using, you want to not throw them in a deep black hole, never to be called again, but you want to put them in there so that you can rotate through, communicate with them on a regular basis. Because what happens is maybe you met somebody at an event and you hit it off and everything was going great. You had a great rapport for the first month. You were calling each other all the time, and then you get busy and you stop calling them and they stop calling you. And then 6 months later, you see their house listed for sale with another agent. Let me tell you, this happens more times than it doesn't happen. And that's because you did not keep that conversation going. They loved you, but they forgot you when you forgot them. So if you want them to remember you, you have to remember them. So always remember the golden rule, do unto others. If you want them to think of you when time comes, then you need to think of them when time comes. So have a consistent, a regular conversation with the people that you have connected with. Okay, last but not least, and I kind of touched on that. Start your targeted outreach program. So that, what does that mean? All those big words. All that means is that you're going to communicate with the people that you've met. That's all that means on a regular basis. And maybe you want to have a contest. Maybe you want to make it interesting. Maybe you want to, I don't know. Maybe you have
We're
an
getting
open
someone's
house.
background
Try to invite
noise.
them all too. I think we have some feedback. Let me just,
Yeah, if there's some people that are not muted.
yeah, let's go ahead and mute, guys, okay? I don't know who it is. Anyway, anyway, going back to what I was saying, start a targeted outreach program. So all that means is that on a regular basis, okay, I don't know who that is, actually. Let's go ahead and,
Jasmine, if you could please mute yourself. We're getting,
oh, there we go. Okay,
thank
was-
you.
it wasn't working for me. Okay, it's
There's
not
another
Jas-
iPhone also.
She's too great. She should.
Oh,
Yeah, you might
Oh,
want to
there we
mute.
go. There we go. I got it. Okay. I think we're good now. Okay. So just a few more minutes. I'll wrap this up, but start your targeted outreach program. So what is that? That is just a scheduled time that you're going to reach out to everyone in your contact database, spreadsheet, whatever you're using. So you're going to regularly reach out to those folks. And it doesn't have to be formal, it doesn't have to be casual, it has to be any type of outreach. So I've seen agents do like a marketing campaign each month. So like for January, it's the start of a new year. We're going to have, I'm going to reach out to everybody in my database to say, Happy New Year. Holidays are great reasons to reach out to anyone because it's okay to say Happy New Year to anyone at any time. You're not going to be rejected. You're not going to be, no one's going to be mad at you for wishing them Happy New Year. So always use holidays and birthdays as opportunities to reach out to your database. So you want to send a message saying Happy New Year's as we start the new year, and you're thinking about your plans for your real estate. Keep me in mind, something like that. And then you could run a little promotion. Maybe if you call me in the month of January, I'll give you $200 off your listing your property or something. It could be whatever you want. And this is the fun part about real estate, is coming up with these marketing ideas and these campaigns and just different ideas to have fun with it. Because if you take the fun out of real estate, then what have you got? You have to keep it fun for yourself and for your clients, because people navigate toward people that are having fun. Everyone wants to have fun. So if it looks like you're having fun, they're going to gravitate towards you. So have fun with it. And then maybe February is you're going to run a contest maybe, and you'll send something out to your database saying, guess how many jelly beans are in this jar, and send a picture of the jar. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But the whole point is to keep a contact with all those folks. Mix it up. 1 month it's going to be an email. 1 month it's a text message. 1 month it's a personal phone call. And then you go back to email, and then a postcard that you mail to them. So if you do this and you constantly add, and I'm going to say, it doesn't even have to be too lofty. You can add one new person to your database every week. That's not a lot. That is one person. I mean, that's not a lot. That's all I'm saying. It's not a lot. If you do that for 1 year, at the end of that year, you're going to have 52 more people in your database. And if you reach out to all those people every single month of the year, I guarantee you that after a year, you will have people calling you and asking you to list their home. and you will be able to close at least 4 transactions annually if you do that. So if you want that to be more, then how about adding 2 new people to your database weekly or 3 more people to your database? If you added 4 new people to your database every week, I guarantee you'll be closing 1 transaction per month. I guarantee it. And if you want to prove me wrong, go ahead and try, but I guarantee it. That's what will happen, because real estate, number one, is a numbers game. It's just a numbers game. The more you get, the more you get. So, while we're kind of wrapping up this year, I know we're not there yet, but it's going to come faster than you realize. We're going to be signing a new agreement. We're going to be setting some goals. This is the time that you want to start planning what next year is going to look like. Start making those commitments to yourself. I'm going to what? I'm going to attend 3 networking events per week, and I'm going to add 4 new people to my database every single week. Not hard to do, but if you do it, you're going to see the magic happen. Also, another thing that has to do with mindset is that if you can get your mind off of thinking about, oh, I have to get a client, I have to talk them into, listing their house with me, I have to do this, I have to. If you can get your mind away from that and focus more on the person that you're meeting, like actually care about them, then you're also going to see miracles happen. Because once you make that transition and now you're caring about another human being, then you're going to see all kinds of magic happen. I'm just going to leave it there because that's what happened to me. I started caring about the people that I'm helping, and all of a sudden things changed. Everything changed, and it was a miracle. And the miracle can happen for you too. Okay. It is
Hey,
10:10.
Bobby,
Yeah.
I was going to say too, what you were just mentioning about, you know, actually all the things you talked about, in shifting to the business mindset. To me, and maybe this is just me personally, but I think it could benefit others to think of it this way, is because it's you and there's nobody else to hold you accountable except for you, and it's your business, and you can do what you want with it. You can make it successful, you can make it okay, just fine, or it could totally suck. The important aspect, aside from all the things that we're all going to try to do to build our business, all the little things, all the projects, all the ideas that we have roaming around in our heads, we got to write them down. We got to write them down specifically. And then we have to put it in front of ourselves every day, because we're the only ones that are going to be on our own backs about, are we moving forward on this? Are we actually doing these things that we promised to ourselves that we're going to do? And keep really good records so that you know that you're doing it, or you know how far you're getting, because that's the only way we're going to measure that we're moving forward.
Right.
Making those goals, writing them down, looking at them every day, reminding ourselves of what we need to do, and actually seeing how far we got. And from anybody that's shifting from being an employee to not being an employee, or who wants to shift to that, it's almost like, if you have somebody that you're trying to give the work to, like you're delegating some project, and then think, what do I need to tell this person? How do I need to break it down to them and put that on paper? But it's for you.
Yeah.
And then actually follow it.
Yeah. So it's like you're tricking yourself, but honestly, you're right. That is the final step of learning, is the teaching of it. And I encourage all of you, if you can, always take a hostage. If you're going out to a listing agreement and or an open house or anything you're doing, even if it's the first time you're doing it, take a hostage. Take somebody that's newer than you and show them how to do it. And I promise you, miracles will happen. It's crazy how that works, but we can practice with each other. If you have trouble creating or starting a conversation, for example, and you don't know how to go to an event and introduce yourself and make small talk, practice on your co-agents. It's a great way to start. We should all be on a basis with each other that we can call and say, hey, Jasmine, I have an open house. Would you be interested in sitting at the open house with me? Because I expect a lot of people and it could be an opportunity to get some leads. That should be a common occurrence. That should be happening. I know that Rachel sent out a message asking for some help and nobody answered her. I was heartbroken. I thought that this team was a little bit more closer to each other than that. So I think that maybe I'm going to start working on more socializing events internally so that we can learn how to call each other and rely on each other. Yeah, we're competitors, but I think if we see one succeed, we're going to see us all succeed. That's how it works. We can be competitive, but we can also be friends, and we can also work together in a positive way, and we can also learn from each other. And I think as long as we are willing to do that, then we're going to see great things come of it. Before we're out of time, Scott, did you want to say a few words?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I'll make it short and sweet. But just to touch on what you just finished up saying about the cohesiveness of the office. In this market, it's a tough market right now. So yes, everyone is a competitor, but we all need to build each other up and help each other because this is a tough market. Regardless of what the market is doing, it's tough. We have to be there and build each other up. So I like that. Your education this morning was great. I liked what you went over. Everything kind of touched on what you went back to with regarding the 30-day action and prospecting. And you said people are out there. There are people out there, regardless of what rates are doing. There are a ton of buyers out there looking to fill a need of purchasing a home. And if we take the time to hold their hands, educate them on why now is a good time to buy, regardless of what rates are doing, we focus on payment, show them the return on the investment. That's very important right now. So yes, people are out there, continue to prospect. In the last week and a half, rates have gone up. I'm sure you've seen we went from a national average of about 6.875% to 7.5% as of yesterday. The rates are going up, but again, there are still buyers out there. I'm here to help you in any way that you need with any referrals, leads, anyone that's on the fence, to set an appointment with them, whether it's in person or on Zoom. We can go over the numbers and show them why it's a benefit and why it may make sense for them. And if it doesn't, they can make that decision, but at least they're getting the actual data and numbers to make an educated decision. And lastly, just want to give a shout out to Rachel, Misha, Chastity. They used me last week for open houses, flyers. I printed them. I drove them out to the open house. I sat at an open house for a couple hours with Rachel and Misha. Brought them Diet Cokes. It was a hot day. They had a great turnout, and I just thank you for utilizing me. For anyone else that needs any of my help, if I can help you in any way with any of your listings, buyers, just growing your business. If you want to role play and call me, like Bobby was talking about, for that practice, I'm available and here to help you. Because if you're growing, I'm growing, and that's the point, to grow together. So. Thank you all for everything, and I'm free anytime. You have my number, and you can call me whenever.
All right. Thank you, Scott. That was very nice. And yeah, don't forget, we have a wonderful resource. Scott can even make flyers that say what the payment will be on that particular house. So it's a very helpful flyer. I recommend him highly. All right. So we'll go ahead and end it there. Are there any last minute questions? Okay. Well, y'all go out there and make it a great day and prospect, prospect, prospect. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bobby. Great job.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.